Do you ever wonder whether there is more to the concept of time than we have been taught? Whether so, get ready for a mind-blowing realization. Are you sick of feeling like you are running out of time that will never be regained? Time doesn't exist. Yes, you read correctly. We have been tricked into accepting an illusion. Come along with us as we uncover the truth about this deception and uncover the secrets of the cosmos that have been kept from us all along. To understand more about time, please like, subscribe, and comment on our channel. Music. The truth about time. Though the meaning of time is still up for debate among scientists and philosophers, it is commonly understood to be a continuous and irreversible flow that describes a progression of occurrences. Some theories, like the theory of relativity, contend that time is an illusion and that the past, present, and future all exist at the same time, while others contend that time is relative and may be impacted by the presence of matter and energy. Though Einstein's theory of special relativity suggested that time is relative and can change depending on the observer's frame of reference, philosophers often view time in physics as a dimension similar to space. In classical physics, time is regarded as absolute and independent of any physical processes. The idea of dilation, which states that time appears to pass more slowly under stronger gravitational fields or for objects traveling at high speeds, was also introduced by Einstein's theory. Time is also seen as an emergent characteristic in quantum mechanics. Time has been disputed for centuries. Some philosophers contend that time is real and objective, while others maintain that it is a product of particle interactions and not, a basic philosophical concept. Others, however, contend that it is a subjective sensation and a human invention. Scientists and philosophers are still debating and researching the fundamental nature of time, and it might not be able to fully comprehend or assign blame. Duration, contentious. Although time is a basic idea that is essential to our comprehension of the cosmos, it has also generated a great deal of controversy and discussion throughout history for a number of reasons, including the different theories and interpretations of what time is and how it is perceived and measured. The question of whether time is an objective or subjective phenomena is one of the primary debates surrounding it. While some scientists and philosophers contend that time is an essential component of the universe that exists apart from human perception, others counter that time is a creation of our experiences and perceptions rather than an objective reality. According to certain philosophers and physicists, time is a constant flow. Although others contend that it consists of isolated instances, this discussion has been more complicated by the emergence of quantum mechanical theories and the idea of time dilation, which raises the possibility that time is not as fixed and unchanging as we previously believed. The very notion of time is a socially constructed idea. Until we as a community give it meaning, time has no value. If you were one of the many people who ignored the time change a few weeks ago, you might have felt out of sync with others if you didn't update your watch or other time-tracking device when the time changed. Because it is based on the meaning, systems that people have created, time is a social construct. While most of the world uses the same calendar today, that wasn't always the case. There is still diversity when many civilizations celebrate the new year despite the passage of time, and the Buddhist calendar and the calendar agree that the year is 2560 at present. Cultural markers of time are typically significant political or religious events. Can you physically feel the passage of time? To grasp the meaning of time is to grasp reality itself. Even though the idea that the Earth revolves around the sun now influences this sense, it wasn't always so. Nicholas Copernicus's 16th century heliocentrism theory was considered heretical because the Bible claimed that the Earth was the center of the cosmos. I've come to the conclusion that time is a mental construct as a result of my investigation with philosophers and physicists for my public television program, Closer to Truth. What do people mean when they declare that time is not real? According to a philosophy professor at Cambridge University, time's three essential qualities: a distant present, a downward passage, and an absolute direction, are conceptual rather than empirical. He made a comment about the notion that time is merely a component of a four-dimensional space-time, and that space-time is not fundamental, but rather develops from a deeper structure when he said that science provides us with the so-called block universe. Rovelli's order of time states that time is an illusion, and that our simplifications of its motion are incompatible with the principles of physics. Even Isaac Newton's perception of a ticking clock was a delusion. Since the manifold is elastic, and local timescales change as one approaches or departs from a huge body, Albert Einstein's relativistic spacetime hypothesis is, at best, oversimplified. However, why, in Rovelli's opinion, has this happened? He contends that our senses of space and time are merely illusions overlaid on a complex network of mechanisms. The laws of thermodynamics and quantum physics are globally applicable. Isaac Newton's mathematical justifications for physics. Because of the relative malleability of space and time, Albert Einstein and Erwin Schrödinger suggest that time exists and that, in our own experience, both entropy and information increase with time. According to Einstein, time is only a fourth dimension, and the past and the future are identical with the present. Two distant events can appear in different orders depending on the observer. Rovelli's book provides an intelligible explanation of current physics as produced by Einstein and quantum mechanics, as well as classical physics as developed by Newton and Ludwig Boltzmann. The entropy idea essential to Bayesian probability and thermodynamics. Though it is generally accepted that time must be quantized or divided into minuscule increments, this is not the case for the Planck length or time, but at the smallest scales. Theory can be used to support the claim that time is more of a relative than an absolute term in the physical explanation of the universe. However, I believe that some of Rovelli's arguments are flawed. When quantum physics and relativity are required to explain time reversal invariance, our understanding begins to falter. To the best of our knowledge, the laws of physics remain unchanged no matter how far back in time we go, and, for the same reasons, any movie can be seen in reverse. The second rule of thermodynamics states that entropy never decreases, providing a probabilistic explanation for why films look different when viewed backward. Instead, it does best in wide-open spaces. Furthermore, the ultimate state is usually quite different from the one on the outset. Probabilities emerge from these preconditions, rather than being built into the rules themselves to make a dough that stays together when squeezed. Combine the flour, sugar, butter, and eggs in a bowl, the initial condition, and mix them the law until you have a dough. The dough would have to be prepared in an impossible way for a reverse spinning mixer to separate the eggs from the flour. Successfully in principle, this unmixing should have a place to begin. Our capacity to undertake reverse engineering gives us high confidence in its existence. The molecules would have to be arranged inconceivably to make the dough rise. The rejuvenating effects of a facelift and the separation of bread dough are thus impossible to observe the world without time action. Based explanation as opposed to the particle or field-based explanation, or how things work. Any possible A storm is not a thing, but rather a collection of happenings, and it is the responsibility of physics to define the connections between these events. From a distance, each of these occurrences seems to be the result of the interaction of particles in a specific location in time, but time and space exist because of these occurrences and the web of causation that links them. The foundation of relativity is that neither time nor space is fixed. Truth is always conditional and never complete time. This thermal time hypothesis was first proposed by the French mathematician Alain Connes. In the final chapter, The Sources of Time, Rovelli uses the principles of thermodynamics and quantum mechanics to dissect the basis of human illusions. He argues that because we are unable to fully comprehend everything that is happening around us at once, time passes differently for different people due to quantum uncertainty. which makes it impossible to determine the precise locations and velocities of particles if we succeed time in entropy. When talking about time in the universe, it's helpful to begin with the basic notion that evolution is really about the connection between various parts of the universe and your clock. According to British physicist Julian Barber, time is the smooth passage between successive images in a sequence across time. I'm paying attention, and I can tell by your nods that you concur that it would be hard to understand time without it. Barber contends that although time is an illusion, progress is not what we refer to as time. Rather, time is a mirror of the past and the future, and people can determine how much time has passed by observing how quickly their environment is changing. The block universe concept. Your cosmic birth date is unknown. Death is a spatial and temporal reality, just like everything else. The fabric of space-time contains a place for every moment of your life. The block. The block universe idea regards all occurrences, independent of their time or location, as belonging to the same enormous block, which is how the universe hypothesis characterizes our universe. All three of these times are covered by this theory: the past, present, and upcoming. You can also think of the cuboid or three-dimensional rectangle as the fundamental building block of our world, if it helps you think about the cuboid's height and width. Similarly, real time is added to the usual: three spatial dimensions of length, width, and depth. Two of the universe's physical dimensions are represented by the cube, which, for the purposes of argument, has all of human knowledge ever gathered. The cube also displays the space-time coordinates of the locations of these events, and the block holds all of your life's information from the moment of your birth until you read these lines. Understanding the relationship between time and space is essential to understanding the theory of relativity and other foundational concepts of modern physics. For the past 2,000 years, people have contemplated the relationship between time and space. And in the context of cosmological research, Aeon holds that time and space are absolute in absolute space-time. Albert Einstein's introduction of relative time in 1905 as part of special relativity, which ultimately turned out to be in conflict with Newton's concept of absolute space-time, marked a significant turning point in the history of contemporary physics. The idea was first put forth by Isaac Newton in the 16th century, the idea of time dilation. The phenomenon known as time dilation occurs when observers moving through a gravitational field at different speeds experience time differently. To comprehend how this occurs, take a look at the following. The precise duration is uncertain. Einstein's theory of relativity inevitably leads to this counterintuitive conclusion. Even though time dilation is only readily apparent in exceptional circumstances, it always has some invisible impact on our lives. We will investigate the effects of time dilation, including GPS issues and the well-known twin parrot stocks. For example, a car traveling 60 miles per hour, or 97 kilometers per hour, relative to a stationary observer, may appear to be going 120 miles per hour or 193 kilometers per hour to a car going the other way. One's perception of time will be altered if one observes. The idea of the arrow of time according to the second law of thermodynamics states that a closed system's entropy always, even though entropy isn't a reliable timekeeper, the second law states that the degree of order in a closed system has an asymmetrical relationship to time, meaning that it rises as time passes as measured by its entropy. This inequality can be used to differentiate between the entropy of the past and the present, may eventually decline in a free system. Although no arguments have ever been shown to refute the second law of thermodynamics, it has been established that the statistical assumption that little deviations usually occur but never big ones is valid. The point, however, one of the many apparent inconsistencies in the application of the second law of thermodynamics, the idea of time loops, is clarified by the County reoccurrence theorem. Time travel and time ideas. For more than a century, loops have been a common device in fiction. Loops are ubiquitous in popular culture, from the legend of Punxsutawney to tales of mad scientists with time machines. A time loop, often called a closed time-like curve, is a line in time that closes and returns to its beginning point. Phil, is there any theoretical science underlying time looping? Loop quantum gravity, which assumes that time and space are woven together like a tapestry, provides. Although there aren't many strict rules about how time loops should be portrayed in fiction, it feels good to know that you're here to watch and learn from our videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more entertaining and educational videos. The idea that time is an illusion and that our perceptions are deceiving us may seem hard to understand at first, but many philosophers and scientists throughout history have explored this idea.